in the dim glow of Hollywood's lights. Linda Darnell stepped forward, her doll-like face hiding a dark secret. Was she a radiant star, or just prey in a game played by those lurking in the shadows from a shy little girl? Linda was thrust into the spotlight, where every smile cut like a knife. Every glass of liquor whispered pain, and a fire consumed her story. A figure vanished into the night as flames roared a clue no one could explain. Was it an accident, or did an unseen hand want her story erased in the silver light? Linda left an unfinished tale, where the truth about a woman who once shook Hollywood lies buried. Did the fire destroy her, or did Hollywood write her ending? Chapter 1, a childhood steeped in stardom's hope. Under the stage lights of Dallas in 1930, a timid girl stood trembling, unaware that the glow would lead her into a carefully set trap. Linda Darnell, or was she someone's puppet, in a modest Oak Cliff home, where light rarely reached? Linda grew up amid endless arguments. Her father, a quiet man, was always absent, leaving her mother, Pearl, with cold, sharp eyes and burning ambition. Pearl saw her middle daughter and envisioned a dream not Linda's, but her own. "I'll make you a star," Pearl would say, her voice like a command, as if fate had already been written. At just 4 years old, Linda was pushed into dance classes, singing Alice Bluegown before strangers, her young eyes full of fear. By 11, she stood in a department store, pretending to be older to model dresses. At 13, she performed on local stages, her forced smile hiding a heavy heart. Pearl was always there, watching every step, never relenting. Whispers circulated that Pearl once locked Linda in a dark room, where only the ticking of a clock and indistinct murmurs could be heard. Was it just punishment, or a way to break the girl's spirit? Neighbors in Oak Cliff sometimes heard cries, but no one dared ask. Hollywood in the 1930s was a promised land of temptation, where young girls were turned into glittering commodities. One day, a stranger's gaze from Hollywood landed on Linda, as if fate had chosen her or set a trap. At 15, with deep brown eyes, she left Dallas for the city's bright lights. Alone in a small apartment, her heart racing with hope and fear. There, she faced more than just the stage, secret meetings, contracts signed in the dark, and promises no one dared speak aloud. Who was really behind her big break? But those lights didn't just bring hope. They opened a door to a world of pressure, where her mother's dream became a burden on her shoulders. The Darnell family's secrets. The cries in the dark, were they the first signs of a tragedy waiting to unfold? Linda Darnell, a rising star or just a victim of ambitions not her own in Hollywood's glow? The shadows were always watching. Chapter 2, Linda Darnell, young star or golden prize. Under the harsh lights of a Hollywood soundstage, Linda stood still, her doll-like face masking a 15-year-old who didn't yet know what Hollywood truly was. The blinding light shone on her, but her deep brown eyes reflected fear. Was she ready? Or had she stepped into a game with unspoken rules? The studio molded her into a stranger, a sultry, mature woman. Though her heart was still a child's, they called her Fox's new star. But behind her forced smile was a girl who felt like an item on a shelf. Daryl Zanuck, the titan of 20th Century Fox, looked at Linda with more than a producer's eye. Whispers in Fox's hallways suggested he was obsessed with her. Some said Zanuck sent extravagant gifts, silk dresses, red roses with handwritten notes Linda didn't dare read aloud. One night, she found a box with no sender's name, containing a necklace and a message. "You belong to the spotlight, still so young." Linda trembled as she locked her door, sensing someone watching from the shadows. On set, she wore glamorous gowns, playing grown women alongside actors decades older. But between takes, she studied in secret, treated like a child in a world demanding perfection. A prominent columnist wrote, "Linda's too young, too innocent, and too loyal to Zanuck." But that loyalty came at a cost. Hollywood in the 1930s was a ruthless machine, where young women were forced to maintain flawless beauty and judged by every public glance. Linda felt trapped, like a bird in a gilded cage, her smile the only thing she was allowed to show. Rumors swirled that Zanuck held a secret about Linda, a paper signed in the dark. A promise no one dared mention. Crew members whispered she wasn't just a star, but part of a bigger plan. What was that plan with a heavy heart? Linda kept moving under the lights, each step a test, the gifts, the notes. Zanuck's gazes all like shadows lurking behind the glamour. In Hollywood's spotlight, was Linda Darnell a star or prey? What secret hid behind her forced smile? And what did Daryl Zanuck really want from that 15-year-old girl? Chapter 3 roles that boxed Linda as a sex symbol. In the 1940s Hollywood glow, Linda Darnell shone, but her eyes seemed to search for something in the dark. Was that light a reward or a curse laid in wait on set? She glided in stunning gowns, but each step pulled her deeper into a maze with no escape. She was Hollywood's jewel, her doll-like face captivating audiences, hailed as one of the era's great beauties. But behind her perfect smile, her heart was heavy, as if she knew the light was an illusion, playing fiery femme fatales with blazing red hair. Linda won over audiences, but each scene was a battle with herself. The studio demanded brutal diets, a new voice, and relentless work to craft her as the perfect icon. She collapsed on set not once, but twice, her body weakened by endless demands. "I poured my heart into that role," she whispered to a friend, her voice mingling hope with despair. But no matter how hard she tried, the spotlight never truly felt hers. One night, after leaving the set, Linda found an anonymous letter slipped under her door, its hurried words warning, "Stop shining, or the light will burn you." No signature, no trace. But someone seemed to watch her from afar. Crew members murmured that the studio didn't just control her smile, but her fate. In closed-door meetings, eyes followed her, as if she were more than a star, a pawn in a larger game. Hollywood in the 1940s was a brutal arena, where young stars were celebrated, then discarded when past their prime. Linda, with her sharp talent shining through vivid roles, felt the pressure to be perfect from her figure to her smile, to every glance at the camera. She confided to a friend, her voice trembling, "I think I could do more, but they only want my face." Disappointment weighed her down as she missed out on deserved awards, despite praise from critics and fans. Linda stood at the peak, but her happiness was fragile, like a stage light, ready to flicker out. Was that anonymous letter a harmless threat, or a sign of something darker? Linda Darnell stood in the spotlight. But was that light truly hers? Or a trap set by those in the shadows? Chapter 4. Pain from Broken Romances. In the hazy light of a Hollywood bar, Linda Darnell sat quietly, her eyes hiding wounds no one could see. Did her heart break from love, or from a secret Hollywood didn't want her to share on set? A director entered her life, stirring her heart but leaving scars that never healed. Joseph L. Mankiewicz, the man behind the camera, became the fire in her soul. She called him her greatest love, but he, with his heart elsewhere, offered only fleeting promises. After her death, a letter was found, Mankiewicz's handwriting shaky. "I love you, but some things can't be said," hidden in a locked box. That letter seemed to conceal more than an apology. Who stopped him from giving her what she longed for? Whispers suggested the studio knew of their affair and ensured it never went too far. Linda's heart broke more than once. A hasty marriage to a man over 2 decades older taught her to drink, each glass pulling her deeper into darkness. They adopted a little girl, but laughter in their home soon turned to arguments. Another marriage, cold as a business deal, crumbled before she could grasp its meaning. Then a pilot promised a fresh start, only to leave her facing harsh accusations in court. Each time Linda loved, it was like stepping onto a stage, only to find the audience gone. Howard Hughes swept into her life like a storm, promising glamour but leaving whispers of fear. One night, Ann Miller pulled her aside and hissed, "You don't know what he really wants." Was Hughes after her heart or something darker? Hollywood in the 1940s was a maze of scandal, where every relationship of a star like Linda was exposed. Judged by vicious columnists and a hungry public, she felt pinned like a butterfly, her smile the only thing she could keep. "I just want to be loved," she sobbed to a friend, her voice breaking in the dark. Those emotional wounds cut like knives, driving her into loneliness and drunken nights. Each heartbreak seemed watched by a smiling Hollywood in the shadows. Were those wounds just unfulfilled love, or part of a plan to break her? Chapter 5: Self-Blame in the Shadows. In a darkened room, Linda Darnell stood before a mirror, her eyes empty, as if facing a stranger. Did she wonder where she went wrong? Or had someone set a trap to take everything Hollywood's once dazzling light had faded, leaving only shadows that clung like ghosts? She drifted through forgettable roles, a specter in her own dream. The face once called perfect now bore traces of time, faint lines telling a story of unspoken regrets. Each glance in the mirror showed someone she barely recognized, a star who once captivated the world, now just a name forgotten. Liquor became her refuge, its bitter burns soothing the pain of lost loves and a career in freefall. In the cold rooms of rehab, she tried to escape the darkness, but it clung, whispering doubts that gnawed at her soul. "I had everything," she wept to a friend, her voice breaking. "Now I'm nothing." She remembered standing in the spotlight with crowds cheering endlessly. But now, the world that once adored her turned away, deeming her too old, too faded. She took to small stages, hoping to reclaim the light. But sharp criticism cut like knives, as if she were a relic of a forgotten era. One critic wrote she moved through scenes with weary eyes, as if she no longer believed in herself. One night, her phone rang in her dim apartment. A low, raspy voice whispered, "Think they dropped you because your talent ran dry, or because of a secret they don't want you to know." No name, no trace. But the threat made Linda tremble, her hand gripping the receiver. Rumors in the industry hinted the studio didn't just cut her contract, they wanted her gone from the spotlight. An insider saw her leave a producer's office, pale as if she'd heard something unspeakable. A friend said Linda clutched a faded scrap of paper, its ink blurred, as if it held the real reason Hollywood cast her out. Hollywood didn't just forget Linda, it seemed to want her silenced forever, as if she knew something she shouldn't. Was it the paranoia of a broken spirit, or a darker truth waiting to be uncovered? Linda stood in the shadows, questioning her own faults. She looked back on her glory days, her forced smiles, and wondered if she could have done things differently. But was she really to blame? Or had Hollywood woven a net she could never escape? Chapter 6: Despair in the Flames. That night, in a dimly lit room, Linda Darnell sat quietly, the TV's glow flickering on her face, as if her past whispered of an ending already written. Was the fire that erupted an accident, or did someone want her story erased? The screen's light pulled her back to days when her name blazed on theater marquees, when fans called her the perfect face. But the air that night was heavy, as if an unseen threat loomed. Smoke crept through the house, faint at first, as she sank into memories of a life lost. She sat with an old friend and her friend's daughter, unaware the darkness was about to swallow everything. The fire roared to life, like a ravenous beast born from a stray spark or something more suspicious. A strangely broken oil lamp lay in the corner. A door locked from the outside, details firefighters couldn't explain. In panic, Linda ran toward the stairs, the fire's heat biting at her heels. Her friends escaped through a window, but she chose a path straight into the flames, as if pulled by an unseen force. When firefighters found her, the fire had nearly consumed her, leaving only a broken shadow. She woke once, her eyes meeting her daughter's, as if to say a final word before slipping into darkness forever. Whispers hinted the fire wasn't just from a cigarette. Neighbors swore Linda hadn't been drinking that night. Yet a strange bottle of liquor appeared in the rubble, as if placed to tell a different story. One witness claimed a shadowy figure was seen near the house before the smoke rose, vanishing into the night. A friend later found a charred scrap of paper in the ashes, its faint writing hinting at a secret someone tried to erase. Was it coincidence? Or did someone want her silenced forever? Her daughter, voice choked, said, "My mother didn't want to live with those scars." But what truth burned in that fire? Was it a random accident? Or had an unseen hand pushed Linda into eternal darkness to ensure her story stayed untold? The fire consumed Linda Darnell, but was it just an accident? Or did an unseen hand push her into eternal darkness? Epilogue, Legacy of a Forgotten Star. Linda Darnell, once a blazing star, is now just a name in the shadows. But has her story truly ended? Or do secrets still lie buried under Hollywood's lights from a shy, small-town girl? She was lifted to dazzling heights by a world promising everything, from radiant roles to silent steps. Linda left her mark on the silver screen, but no one saw the wounds in her heart. On the Walk of Fame, her star quietly tells a story never fully told. Hollywood built her, only to let her fall. The pressure to be perfect, her figure, her face, every gesture crushed her spirit. She fought to prove she was more than a beautiful face. But the world she served gave her no chance. Her heart broke under the weight of fleeting loves, and liquor became a fleeting refuge from pain. The fire that took her wasn't just a tragedy. It was the final act of a play written by hands she couldn't see. After her death, her ashes sat in a cemetery office, as if someone feared what she might reveal in rest. A cemetery worker once saw a stranger ask about her urn, then vanish without a trace. Was it a family secret? Or a truth Hollywood didn't want exposed? Linda's legacy lives in the flickering images of her films, where her beauty and talent still captivate. Her star on the Walk of Fame is a silent testament to a life that burned brightly but briefly. Her story is a warning of a world that crowns stars only to watch them fall, of a system demanding perfection but offering no mercy. Picture Linda standing in the spotlight one last time, her sad smile hiding untold secrets. Her life forces us to look past the glamour, see the real person, and wonder what could have been different. Linda Darnell's legacy endures in the silver light, but in the shadows, questions linger: who pushed her into the fire, and what secret burned with her?